Thank you for joining me. Today we are going to review Series 2 Micro Galaxy Squadron, the AAT Battle Tank. This is the last vehicle included in that wonderful box that Jazwares sent over. It is number 39. It should be retailing for about $16.99. It is currently on Amazon right now in stock as I'm filming this. It's been in stock most of the day, as well as the Gauntlet fighter, the Snow Speeder, Yoda starship, and the battle damaged TIE fighter. The back of the packaging shows the traditional illustrations of this vehicle. There is the collectible blueprint card. It shows that the cannon can rotate 180 degrees, and we can place our battle droid inside of the tank. It also shows some more ships released in Series 2. I have already reviewed the Gauntlet fighter, the Snow Speeder, Ahsoka Tano's Jedi Starfighter, and the Havoc Marauder. This comes with one figure, none other than a battle droid. I would have loved to have had an extra one since these are key army building figures and vehicles, but that just leaves room for blind boxes, troop transports, and hopefully an MTT, which would be absolutely insane to have. Here is the barcode to help you track this down. This should be hitting our local Targets and Walmarts as well. Here's this baby out of the packaging. Man, this tank is cool. There's a lot of features to it that the back of the packaging does not show. I'm a big fan of the prequels, so I love most of the stuff that comes from that era. They absolutely nailed this sculpting. It looks really good. I would say it maybe looks a little bit lighter than what we see from the film, but a little bit of black wash would really help church that up. Before we break this down, I want to let you guys know about a collecting group on Facebook. So there is a group dedicated to Micro Galaxy Squadron. I will post the link in my description. It's a great group of members, and honestly, we're all collectors there, and you get to learn a lot of awesome things from other people that like do customizations and paint apps, and then also store finds. So if you live in a certain state and somebody says, hey, I found this in Nebraska, and you're like, wow, I live in Nebraska too, I should probably check my stores as well. It's just a great collecting community. There are members from all over the world, so you get to really connect with a lot of the community, and it's just a really positive environment. So be sure to check that out. I was conflicted about keeping this review last just because I was super excited about it, and now that I know that there's even more to this ship, I'm even more excited about it. This battle droid is so good. The sculpting on this is amazing. So they went with the darker wash battle droid, which is like your heavy class, instead of the traditional tan color, which I'm cool with because it shows a contrast between the ship colors. Here's a look at its back. So that receiver pack area isn't removable, it just stays on the droid. It stands at about 1 1/8 inches tall. And it does have your traditional articulation at the arms and legs. So before we get started, I'm going to place the battle droid inside so we have somebody piloting this while I'm going over all the details. So we're going to start with measurements. I guess the easiest way for me to measure the length would be from the bottom here. So it looks like we're getting about 5 inches long. At width, we are right at just under 4.5 inches. Height-wise, I would say 3 3/4. Now, if I extend that cannon, spoiler alert, it does articulate. So if I extend that all the way up, I would say we're about 4.5 inches. I would say this is probably one of my favorite paints that they've done. I mean, just look at the little printing on there throughout, gives it like kind of a dirty look, and then just the blast marks from those turrets on there look so good. I'd like to start with the weapons. So we have turrets here and a cannon here, and all of these articulate. So let's start with the turrets. These are like your traditional short-range weapons, so they can move upwards, like, you know, you're trying to shoot something out of the sky, but I mean, you're short-range, so you're not going to be really shooting that far, so they can move upwards, individual, and then also downwards as well. So if you're trying to shoot some Gungans boarding your ship, then you can do that. But it doesn't stop there, so we can move this up and down, and now we can take this top part of the tank and move it from left to right 180 degrees, which is amazing, so you can get even more articulation and range out of it, and that is just so cool to me. I mean, just look at all the different areas that you can aim. So I'm going to try to make this look as ridiculous as possible, just like crazy, like, I mean, you're just shooting all over the sky, just chaotic. You got Gungans down here, you got maybe like some short range, you know, missiles you're trying to shoot out of the sky, and then you have some Naboo fighters up there, and that's just so awesome. I love this so much. So this cannon does not move downwards, it only moves upwards, which, I mean, honestly, logistically makes sense, because if you're trying to, shoot something down right here, you're going to basically friendly fire your own tank. And when you're operating this in Battlefront 2, you can't look downwards either. Now let's talk about piloting. So you saw me open up this hatch and place a battle droid in there. We can also open up this hatch and place a droid in there as well, which will operate these ground cannons, which is so cool that they included this because I had no idea that they were going to do that on the back of the packaging. So I like the fact that they are adding things that they're not showing to the back of the packaging or to the sides of the packaging. So it kind of leaves us with some surprises. So we got to place the battle droid inside of that hatch. So let's open this one up and take him out. And I got to say, I'm really impressed with the stiffness of the joints. That's like one of my biggest pet peeves, is when there's something that's like overly loose. And so far I haven't seen a single ship in my possession that has loose joints. So like everything will stay in place, like you won't lift something up and it won't like droop down. So that's one of my biggest pet peeves, and I'm very happy that none of the ships that I've ever touched or seen have loose joints. So we'll just take him on out of there, and here is the space and the sculpting inside of that hatch. So you can see there's just some like little details and stuff like that. So that's cool that they added that. It's not just like one like cylinder with like nothing in it. So that's pretty cool. There's also like a divider that will separate the legs to keep him more in place so he's not like falling from side to side. Here's also a better look at this seat or the backrest that's in there, and just honestly a better look at the top of the tank and the weathering that's applied to it. So we took him out. Let's open up this hatch. Here is the interior. You can see there's a seat with some sculpting, also some more weathering, and in the front part of the hatch you can see there's like some coils and then just like some control mechanisms in there. And I just love that. I mean, they didn't skimp out on anything. It's all sculpted in there, and that's just super cool. Very well done. So we have him in a seated position with, honestly, it looks like plenty of room. So that's awesome. And we'll close this on up, and we are ready to mow down some clones. This is the point where I wish there was another battle droid included in this vehicle. I mean, it is what it is. We want more, honestly. It would have been cool to have another one, but I mean, that just leaves more room for like the blind boxes, the MTT, and who knows what else. Now, throughout the duration of this entire video, you've probably noticed that this tank is hovering. It's not on the ground at all, and that is so awesome. And that's due to two things. We have wheels and also a stand back there. It's a transparent stand that holds the tank up. As we look to the bottom of this tank, you can see all the sculpting applied and just the weathering throughout, and it looks so good. So we have transparent wheels and also a transparent stand, which I had no idea that these were included. So that was a nice bonus. And here I am just maneuvering this tank around, and it has the appearance that it is hovering, and it is just great attention to detail. So happy that they did this and they did not overlook it. I mean, it just makes it look even better. Now let's do some comparisons. So the AAT should be about half the size of the Republic gunship. So if I line these up where the front of the turrets are at the front of the AAT, I mean, we are just about there for the most part. I mean, the gunship is either too small and needs to be a little bit bigger, or the AAT is just a little bit too big and needs to be smaller. But I mean, we're just about there, and I mean, I think that's important because we need these to be as in line as possible to recreate some awesome scenes in our collection. So overall, I do think these match up pretty well. Could they be a little bit closer in scale? Sure, but a lot of this line hasn't really been linking too much into scale with each other, but these two do seem to be pretty close for the most part. Here's a look at our battle droid next to a clone trooper. So Wikipedia has a battle droid ringing in at 6 feet 4 inches, and we know clone troopers are about 6 feet, so they're pretty close in comparison. I mean, there's no major height discrepancies between the two, so overall I'm pretty happy with this. And just because why not, here is R2 standing next to the battle droid. Something that I would love to see is them to make, like, you know, it could be a blind box for all I care, just like two figures in one blind box. They could have C-3PO's head on the battle droid, and then the battle droid head on a C-3PO body. Would be so cool, and hopefully they do that because I would love to see that. Here we have a clone trooper riding an AT-RT next to our battle droid. And I know it's a burning question. Can you place a battle droid piloting the Republic gunship? And the answer is absolutely yes. And the same thing goes for the AAT. Can you place a clone trooper and pilot the AAT? And yes, you absolutely can. This is a very weird what if episode. What if we swap places? That's going to wrap up this review and unboxing of the AAT Battle Tank, Series 2 of Micro Galaxy Squadron. I think this ship is a lot of fun, one of the best they've released so far in this line. The price is $16.99, it's popping in and out of stock on Amazon, and it should be hitting Target and Walmart stores soon. There really isn't much I'd like to change about this ship. I would say the only thing would be maybe if the color was a little bit more yellow, it would be more accurate, but I mean, honestly, it's not even that far off. And then I would love to have more than one battle droid, but that's just the collector in me that just wants more. So, I mean, that just leaves room for blind boxes, the MTT hopefully, and then other vehicles down the road. But dang, this ship is so cool. So we have articulation at the turrets, the main cannon, we have 2 hatches to place battle droids in, the entire top part swivels 180 degrees, and the entire thing has the appearance that it is floating above the ground. So that is why I think it is a great piece to add to your collection, especially if you are a prequel fan like me, you're going to want to have it. But thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful for you. Be sure to find me on Instagram where I do toy photography, toy videos, toy hunts, toy deals, and all things toy related. Link in the description below. I post heavily on my stories, especially when new things are dropping. And this week I found another ATST Raider Chase in store at Target. But hey, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more of it, be sure to like and subscribe. It is free, and we will see y'all in the next video.